The neighbor who never leaves a new neighbor moved into the apartment next to mine. At first, nothing seemed strange. The landlord told me his name was Daniel. Quiet guy. Keeps to himself. I didn't think much about it, but after a few days, I noticed something odd. Daniel never left his apartment. Not once, day or night. I never saw him go to work, never saw him go outside, not even to throw trash. His door was always closed, but every night around 2:30 a.m., I heard something strange from his apartment. Footsteps. Slow footsteps, walking back and forth across the room. Sometimes I heard two different sets of footsteps, like two people were inside. But Daniel lived alone. One night curiosity got the best of me. I decided to look through the peephole when I heard the footsteps. The hallway was empty, but Daniel's door was slightly open. Just a tiny gap. And inside the dark apartment, I saw someone standing there, watching the hallway, completely still. The next morning, I asked the landlord about Daniel. He looked confused. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. That apartment hasn't been rented for months. The landlord's words kept echoing in my head. That apartment hasn't been rented for months. But that couldn't be true. I had seen Daniel. I had spoken to him once in the hallway. He was real, or at least, I thought he was. That night I decided to check again. Around 2:30 a.m., the footsteps started. Slow. Hairy, back and forth across the floor, just like every night. But this time I heard something else. A second set of footsteps. Two people, walking at the same time. My heart started beating faster. I slowly walked to my door and looked through the peephole. The hallway was dark and empty, but Daniel's apartment door was open again. Just a little, the same tiny gap. And inside, the darkness, I could see movement. A shadow passing by the doorway. Suddenly, someone stepped into the light. It was Daniel, but something was wrong with him. His face looked pale. His eyes were wide open, and he was staring directly at my door, like he knew I was watching him. Then he slowly smiled and whispered something, even though his door was across the hallway. I heard it clearly. "You shouldn't watch us." Because right behind him, another face slowly appeared in the darkness, and it looked exactly like me. The face behind Daniel looked exactly like me. Same eyes, same hair, same expression. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I quickly stepped away from the door. "This isn't possible," I whispered to myself. Maybe I was hallucinating. But then, knock. Someone knocked on my door. My entire body froze. Another knock. 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 Slow, heavy. Exactly like the footsteps I heard every night. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was a message from the landlord. He had sent me an old photos of the apartment building. The message said, "This was taken 5 years ago, before the accident." I opened the photo, and my blood ran cold. Standing in front of the building was Daniel, but he wasn't alone. Next to him stood another person, someone who looked exactly like me. The caption under the photo said, 2 residents died in apartment 204. Suddenly, the knocking on my door stopped. Slowly, the handle began to turn, and a familiar voice whispered from the hallway, "You finally came back."